everyone, this is Lourdes from creativecraftsniche.blogspot.com. Today I'm sharing with you the part 2 of how to create this little Christmas mini card kit. So yesterday we made these cards. Today we will be making the envelopes as well as the box to hold your cards and envelopes. Okay, so we're first gonna start off with the envelope. We're going to be using this stamp set, and this is the Endless Wishes stamp set. And the item number is 136829. I'm gonna set that aside. We're gonna go ahead and bring in our gift box punch board. And we're gonna make our envelope using the gift box punch board. I have an envelope punch board, but it's not Stampin' Up, so I'm not gonna use it, but I figured out how I can use this to make the envelope. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna line this up in between the L and the M. So that's the large and the medium. And this piece of copy paper is cut at 4.5 by 4.5, and so we're going to align it at the midsection in between this notch and that notch right there. Okay, and we're gonna punch, and then we're gonna score this way. Then we're gonna turn it, align it up with this notch, align this score line with this notch right here. I could never see it right with my lighting. Okay, so we're gonna line that up. Okay, then we're gonna punch and score. Then we're gonna flip the paper, line that up, punch and score, and then flip the paper, line it up, punch and score. And so there we have our envelope that fits our card perfectly in there. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna set our punch board aside. We're going to throw out our scraps, and then we're going to begin folding in our edges, our flaps, sorry. Okay. Okay, and then you can leave it like that, or you can take a round punch and go ahead and round out the corners. Again, I'm using an item that is not Stampin' Up, so I'm going to do this off screen. Okay, so I've rounded out the corners of those two sides. And then here is where we're going to use the Fast Fuse, which I think this product is very good for making envelopes, because you don't have to worry about it not it coming apart or bubbling up when you're using liquid glue. Okay, so you're just gonna do that, and then hopefully you don't get any on that little notch. There's not enough to fold it over. It's just enough to meet there. And then what we're going to do with our little envelope here I'm gonna bring in my scrap here. And we're going to use the small snowflake from that stamp collection. And then let me see how I did it over here. Okay, so we're gonna use the Pear Pizzazz, the Soft Sky, and Lost Lagoon. Okay, and so you're just going to ink it up with your Pear Pizzazz and sort of corner it like that, and then you're going to clean that off. Remember, this project requires a lot of cleaning. So you're going to clean your stamp using your Stampin' Scrub. And then you're going to go ahead and ink up with the Soft Sky. And you want to align it where you're able to get these two parts of the flake to be on the each side of this part of that flake. Okay.
Excuse me, Mom, but I hate to interrupt. But can I play a game?
And then we're gonna clean that one more time. And then we're gonna go ahead and ink that up using the Lost Lagoon and doing pretty much the same thing. I hope I'm in screen here. And that's it. That's all the embellishment that you would do for your envelopes. Okay, and they fit perfectly in here, just like that. Okay. I made previous envelopes using my envelope punch board, and you just cut a 4x4 piece of copy paper and then you score it at 2. And so if you notice here, this is the one that I did with the envelope punch board, and this is the one that I did using the gift box punch board. And if you notice, if I line them up, there's pretty much of a difference where it's this much taller for the gift box punch board, but then for the envelope punch board is just this much longer. So you're gonna get a difference in between the two, but just keep in mind those score lines and where you want to position for the gift box punch board in between the large and the medium, and for your envelope punch board you score at 2. Okay, so I'm gonna just put this in here so I can set that aside, and then we're gonna go ahead and bring in our cardstock. Okay, which I've pre-cut this out, and the original card, the original box, I had cut it out at 7.5 by 5.5, but because I recently made another project which looks like this, which I'll show you how to stamp around the page with this one in my upcoming series. I have a 12 Days of Fall coming up. Since I'm going on vacation, I wanted to have something for you guys to watch while I was on vacation. And as you can see right here, there's a bit of where there's nothing right here, and I got a little bothered about that. If you don't mind, you could leave it like that, but I basically wanted to be able to flush this part up against here so that the embellishment can show throughout the whole thing. As you can see in there, I wanted the inside to have something going on as well. And so for this, what we're going to do, this one I measured it different, and so for this one, this measures 7 7/8. Okay, and then what you're left with is this much of the cardstock, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8 of an inch wide and 5.5 inches long. And we're going to use this for our sentiment. Okay, so we're going to bring in our simply scored board. Okay, and we're going to score. Let me get my cheat sheet here. Hold on. Okay, so on the long side of your cardstock, you're gonna go ahead and score. This time around, I'm actually going to use the smaller one for this cardstock, the smaller side. It has a thicker ball on this side and a smaller one on this side. And so we're gonna score at at 1 inch, at 3.5 inches, at 4.5 inches, and then again at 7 inches. Okay, and then we're going to flip our paper to the short side, and we're going to score this at 1 inch. And then we're going to go ahead and score this. I believe this is 1, 2.5. Let me just make sure. Yeah, so we're going to score this at 3.5. Okay, and so that's pretty much it for scoring. So we're going to go ahead and put our simply scored board away. Let me put this away so I don't lose it. Okay, and then we're gonna bring in our paper snips, and we're just gonna start cutting. I like to flip it this way because it allows me to see where I'm going to cut. And so I'm just gonna cut right here along this side of that score, and then along the other side of the score. And so if you notice, it leaves me this little notch right here to cut out. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that all the way around. Then when we get to this spot right here for this side, we're going to actually cut off this little square here. Okay, and let's see, and this square here. Okay, and then we're just going to finish up cutting along each side of that score mark. Okay, So now what we're going to do is we're going to lift up those little notches and we're just going to snip them off. Okay, and then we're going to leave it flat for now so that we can go ahead and punch around the page. Just put this away, and we're going to bring in our biggest snowflake, and we're going to stamp in the center using the Pear Pizzazz. So I'm going to ink that up really good and stamp it in the center. Okay. Just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing for this side. Okay, and then let me see something. Okay, so basically as for the big one, that's pretty much all that we're going to do with the big one. Now we're just going to go ahead and clean that off and put that aside. And then we're going to start stamping around the edges with this one, and we're going to use the Lost Lagoon. Okay, so we're just going to go to the edges, like each point. Okay. Lost Lagoon. Sometimes I get confused and I grab another color. Let me see. Just want to make sure that I did that correctly. Okay. So far. Okay. Okay. And then let's see, I think that's it with that one. Let's see. Okay, no, we're not done with this big one yet. Sorry, we need this big one for the inside. Okay, because we want to embellish the inside as well. Okay, and then we're gonna go back to the Lost Lagoon, pretty much do the same thing on the corners. And then I have this last corner here. Okay, so I'm gonna clean those two off. Remember, this is photopolymer and they stain very easily. So if you want them to be lightly stained, you want to clean them right away. Okay, if not, they're going to get stained regardless, but they'll just have a darker shade of stain if you don't clean them right away. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and bring in the smallest snowflake, and this time around we're gonna go at it using the smoky slate and the soft sky. Okay, and then let me just make sure. Okay, so with the smoky slate, I hit it at the edges. Okay, let's see where else. Okay, so I'm going to clean that off again. And then this time I'm going to come in with the soft sky. And then with the soft sky, I'm just going to fill in wherever I see that there is nothing. I mean, not that there's nothing, but that it looks like it can use a little something. Okay. Let's see. I guess like right about there. It's basically filling her up. Okay. Let's see. Where else? Okay, right here. Right there. Okay, and let's see. I guess I can go ahead, even though that this part is going to be on the bottom, I like to give it, I want to give it definition throughout the whole thing. Sorry. So I'm just gonna come back in with the smoky slate. Let's see. Right about there. Okay. And then I guess I can, let me see. I guess I can stamp off on that one. And let's see. Stamp off on that one. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean this off. Sorry, got little papers around. Okay, and we're done with stamping for now. Then we're going to bring in, where'd you go? Our bone folder. We're going to go ahead and fold in all our creases. We're going to burnish them. Okay, and then before you close the box up, you're going to bring in your Tombow Mono multi-liquid glue, and you're just going to just put a little bit. Okay. Hope I'm in frame. Okay, so that's just enough to, okay, and then before we close it up, okay, if you notice right here, this is the one where we want to be inside. So you're gonna have a little difference here, but that's okay because the inside will be all covered up nicely and you won't have that white edge happening in the inside. Okay, so when you go ahead and put the glue on, you want to put the glue on this side. Okay, but before we do that, we want to determine which side is the front and which side is the back. So obviously we want this piece right here facing the back, and so this is going to be the front, and we're going to take a 3/4 of an inch hole punch, and we're going to punch half a circle out of this piece right here. Again, I'm going to do that off screen because I don't have a Stampin' Up product for this. Okay, and that punched out nicely. Yesterday it actually gave me a whole lot of trouble just to go ahead and notch that out. So we're gonna go ahead now and close this up. And what we're going to do is we're just going to fold this up like this and then bring this around like that. Okay, or this way, whichever one is much easier. And then you're gonna wanna burnish that really good. Okay, and so there's your little box. And then since we obviously know this is the front, we're gonna glue this side on last. So we're gonna fold in these two flaps and we're just gonna put in a little bit of glue on the flaps. Okay, and then we're going to put some more glue on this part right here. Okay, and then bring that together just like that. And then we're going to flip it and use our bone folder here to help us get that inside really nicely. Okay, so now to go ahead and embellish this front of the card, let me close this up. We're going to bring in our, I believe this is the decorative label punch. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I'll have that in on my blog. And so usually you would stamp first and then punch, but because of how you would have to align, and not align this, but align the stamping, you would have a little problem trying to get it to stamp properly. So we're gonna punch that out first, and then the two stamps that we're going to use is Christmas and a little dash of. And we're going to stamp Christmas first, and we're going to use the Lost Lagoon for that, and we're going to bring that to the very bottom. Okay, making sure you align that up. Okay, that came out nicely. Remember, you have two sides, so if you don't get it right with the one side, you can always flip it around and use the other side. So I'm going to clean that off once more. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp this one using the Smoky Slate, and this is a little dash of. Okay, now I'm gonna stand up for this because I need to be able to angle this right. And then I'm just gonna put it like almost towards the edge because I don't want it to clash with the Christmas. Okay, and so that looks like that. Okay, so I'm gonna clean off my stamp here once more, and we're done with stamping, but we're going to sponge this up, and we're gonna sponge this up using the Soft Sky. And the Soft Sky just gives it a little hint of distress. We want it to look, you know, very soft. Okay, just gonna hit it some more at the bottom. Okay, and so that looks like that. And then we're going to go ahead, set that aside, and bring in our dimensionals. I'm gonna grab 2 and put 1 on each corner. Peel that off, and then we're going to center that on here. Okay, and so that is it for our card and our envelopes, and it fits perfectly in there. And there you have it. That's our kit that we have made using the Endless Wishes stamp set. And you can actually fit about 16 different 16 cards, mini cards in there, and 16 envelopes. If you're interested in recreating this project, just simply stop by my store at creativecraftsniche.stampinup.net, and remember to use this month's hostess code, which I will have on my blog. And I hope you have loads of fun making this project. I didn't have any extra bling to go ahead and put on this one, but basically here you have one without the bling and one with the bling jewels. So thank you so much for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe, and you have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye.